I'm Liam, and this is my partner Kaya. I've been canyoning for years, however, Kaya has never been canyoning before. This is my best mate Brad and his partner Mackenzie. Brad and I have travelled the world together pursuing our love of the outdoors, but Mackenzie's only been canyoning once before, where she broke her ankle and had to get carried out. Tonight, we're going to be descending a beautiful Blue Mountains canyon, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive arachnocampa richardsii, or glowworm. On this adventure, we battle through an abseil into the void, freezing cold pools of water, colonies of spiders, and what feels like a million stairs. Join us on our adventure. Midnight Canyoning, the search for glowworms.
Yep.
Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Every great adventure has a starting place, and for us here, the week before Christmas, our adventure would begin at a pub in the Blue Mountains town of Blackie. Each of us shoveled bucket loads of carbs into our mouths as we knew tonight would be a long one, and we sat there enjoying the cool breeze and live music on offer. A short drive to the trail to our canyon, and we are greeted by a gorgeous view over the Grose Valley, with the setting sun transforming the valley into vibrant hues of yellow and orange. It was truly a magical moment, being in such a beautiful landscape with the people so important to me. As we packed our bags, I could tell that the girls were nervous. This was a big undertaking for them, trusting Brad and I to take them through their first canyon ever, in the middle of the night. Now I'm not going to lie, I was feeling pretty apprehensive too. Mainly because we have an early start the next day for a family Christmas gathering, and I knew that we would be buggered from the late night. A car shuffle in the last drops of daylight before we arrived at the trailhead and started off on our adventure. Walking through the rainforest, we transitioned to head torches, stopping every now and then to look up to the sky and appreciate the shade of purple. It was a funny feeling actually starting our adventure as the sun was going down, as being out in the bush with the sun setting ahead of you is generally an indication of a trip gone wrong. Continuing on our way through the trail, the vibes were high, and the sound of trickling water was only interrupted by unbelievable stories and raucous laughter. Soon enough, we were walking through the last sections of rainforest before we arrived at the entrance to the canyon. As we got changed and prepared to abseil into the canyon constriction below, we got our first glimpse of the beautiful glowworms that inhabit this section of the world. A short time later, we are kitted up in our wetsuits and harnesses, taking a final photograph of the group to show our friends and family later, before Brad valiantly agrees to lead the group on the first and only abseil of the canyon. A 20-metre drop into what appears to be a bottomless black pit. Mackenzie and Kaya wait nervously at the top for the all clear from Brad, before they follow in his descent and arrive at the bottom to a stunning amphitheater surrounded by glowworms. Brad coils the rope as I mess around with the tripod, trying to capture the beauty of these little glowworms, before we begin to make our way downstream through the canyon. Descending this canyon at night feels like a completely different experience to being there in the day. In the daytime, these canyons feel vibrantly lush and green, with your eyes drawn to the thousands of ferns and moss-covered walls around you. At night, however, The harsh illumination of the head torch really gives you an appreciation for how immensely powerful this landscape is. Tall canyon walls surround us, with trees the size of cars having been moved effortlessly by the power of Mother Nature. These canyons are shaped by millions of years of flowing water and flood events, which is a strong contrast when compared to the fleeting nature of human life. The irony, however, exists that despite how minuscule and inconsequential us humans seem when in powerful and gigantic landscapes like these, is that each and every human who steps foot in these environments has an impact. Whilst the vast majority of people who are fortunate enough to visit these places of beauty care and respect for the land by leaving no trace, it only takes a handful of careless people to ruin these landscapes that we are so lucky to have. With the glowworms above us looking like a starry blue constellation in distant space, it reminds me of how a popular glowworm photography spot near Sydney was shut down by national parks after reckless visitors repeatedly set off flares inside their habitat, effectively eradicating the entire colony. These types of glowworms are only found in Australia and New Zealand, dwelling in caves and grottos, and although they are not listed as endangered, are incredibly important to be protected. These glowworms have generally few predators in nature, with their greatest threat actually being from human interference. Partway through the canyon, our group was getting cold, so I invited everyone to participate in a disco dance challenge to keep warm.
Can you see me now?
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be the only participant and thus was crowned the winner.
That's terrible.
Continuing through the canyon, the only thing between us and the exit was a 30-metre swim through a deep tunnel. Now this swim is cold at the best of times, but is stunning and would be incredible to have filmed at night. However, with my spirits high after winning the disco competition held earlier, I forgot to press the record button whilst our group was swimming, and only managed to grab this shot of me landing on the rock like a beached whale. By now, we had finally arrived at the exit, and the track back to our car lay ahead of us. Although the group was stoked to have completed the difficult part of today's adventure, it was later than we had anticipated, and we knew that there was a couple hundred metres of ascent ahead of us. We made the decision to stay in our wetsuits to save time, and began our walk back up through the mountains. Partway back up our descent, my head torch ran out of battery, but I found it soothing to continue walking, relying on the natural moonlight to illuminate my path. The air was the perfect temperature for our ascent out, and as we neared the top, light rain began to fall and wash the sweat off my brow. And the crowd goes mild. You did it. Back at the car park, I made the mistake of telling Brad how my head torch had run flat.
Should have got the big W on, mate. This thing got dropped halfway off the abseil into water, and then I hit it, and its battery cabinet opened, and I'm like, oh, it's in the water with its battery open. Nah.
Do you know how much it cost? $11.
Still works, mate.
Indestructible. That sounds like a product review.
We dumped our packs by the car as a collective sigh of relief was released by the group. High fives were exchanged between us all before we quickly changed clothes and got into the dry interior of the car. Today was an adventure we will never forget, descending a canyon at midnight with my best mates. Thanks for watching the video. Don't be a stranger and let me know what you thought in the comments below. And I'll see you on the next Wollemi Adventure.